Everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Today on the show, my special guest is going to tell us how to stay healthy, how to get healthy, and especially coming up to the holiday season, it's going to be very important that we talk about this. So please help me in inviting my good friend, JJ Virgin. How are you, JJ?
I am awesome. How are you?
I am fantastic. Now, you actually have a very inspiring story, which obviously is very appropriate for The Inspiration Show, of how you got into doing this kind of work. Because you weren't always in the health industry, right?
Actually, I've always been in the health industry.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yes. You know, what really happened, Natalie, is I have been interested in health and fitness and nutrition since the age of 12. I mean, always. But I didn't really realize how big it was. You know, I always used to say weight loss is just a metaphor for life, and the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. But what I really realized with a personal situation was how much, having your health can be really a matter of not just your own life, but can be a matter of life and death for other people. And I know that's a big statement, but it will make sense when I tell the story. And that for so many of us out there, our health is what's holding us back from being able to do big things. And the sad part about that is it's so much easier to be healthy than what people realize. It's really a matter of just shifting of habits.
Right. Exactly. So tell us about your personal journey with this, because it, like I said, it's a very, very inspiring story.
Yes. So again, jumping ahead of I've been in the nutrition and health field, 40 graduate and doctoral classes, multiple businesses. It's always been my passion. And I have one son. I have two sons. And back when they were teenagers, 15 and 16, my older one, who's bipolar, I've been doing so much work with him on nutrition and fish oil, etc., which is tough to do with a teenager anyway. They tend to be a little rebellious. And he was the victim of a hit and run accident and left for dead in the street. And this happened right around the time that the Virgin Diet was getting ready to launch. And I'd invested everything I had and then some into this book. And I am the primary financial support for my family. So if the book didn't go, we'd be bankrupt. So there's a little pressure there. And he gets hit by this car. He's literally left for dead in the street. And he's airlifted to the local hospital where they tell us because of his injuries, he had a torn aorta, which kills 90% of the people immediately. He had multiple brain bleeds and 13 fractures. I mean, literally, Natalie, he had bones sticking out of his thighs. It was something no one should ever see. No parent should ever see this. And the doctor said, you just need to let him go. And we overruled them and airlifted him to UCLA, where they saved his life. But he was in a coma for weeks and in the hospital for 4.5 months. And there were a lot of life and death decisions that had to be made during that time. And so, I was there. I would get there usually around 5:30 in the morning because I wanted to be there for grand rounds. And I was there all day long, and I'd leave at 9 at night. And the only time I wasn't there was when I had to run out for interviews, and my ex-husband would come in. And, you look at a time like that where you literally are making decisions on a daily basis that are life and death decisions, and you're in an ICU where you cannot go in there if you're sick. You can't have a cold and go into the ICU with all of these people in there. It's too infectious. And you're under crazy stress. And I was under double stress because I literally was sitting in the ICU with my laptop working on my book launch while I was talking to him because I knew he could hear me in his coma. And he actually said later, he said, I really didn't want to live. The gray man came and asked me if I wanted to live or die, but I kept hearing you talk, and I decided I should stay. I was like, I knew you could hear me talk. Yeah. And afterwards, people were like, gosh, you must be superwoman. I go, no, it's just super healthy. And it made me realize that this is so much bigger than, losing 10 pounds or having more energy, that it really is that difference that whether it's you going for some cool career position or, having a better relationship with your spouse or being able to save someone's life. For so many of us, the health is something we're going to pursue tomorrow. But, these types of situations aren't forgiving. There can't be I'll start now, So it just gave me a lot more immediacy to getting this information out to the world, because I do believe that it is the single biggest thing holding us back, our health, but it's so much easier than what people realize to make these shifts. So much easier. And we get so bogged down in the misinformation out there, and that we just get stuck in analysis paralysis and do nothing and blame ourselves, which breaks my heart.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. The health is foundation to everything. We know that in the My Movies community, for us to be able to, the starting point for us is to be in a positive vibration before we even think about what direction we want to take our life in, what we want to do next. We need to be in this higher vibration, these higher emotions. But if we're struggling every day with fatigue and with health issues, it's nearly impossible for us to get into that point. So it's even hard for us to get to the starting point of where we want to be. So it's so important. Now, I know that with a lot of the health tips that you advocate, they're really on the cutting edge of what's happening right now in the health industry. So can you share some of those with us?
What's so crazy about all that is, I was in graduate school in biomechanics, and I went to sports medicine graduate school. Then I went to doctoral school in exercise phys and geriatrics. Then I jumped into nutrition grad school. Then I went to pharmacology. I mean, I kept jumping. And the science actually hasn't changed, and so much of it has been around for so long. It's not like our bodies change. We have new awareness, but so many of these things like lowering your carbohydrates and lowering your sugar impact and not eating a bunch of fructose, these simple swaps, eating a higher fat diet, they've actually been around. And we've used them 100 years ago, yet we seem to ignore them, because it's whatever the latest fad is that we can make money off of. So some of the simple ones, because again, I'm always looking at what can we do that is simple, right? That can become a habit. Because and what can we add? Because if the first thing you do is start to look at everything you have to take out of your diet, I don't know about you, but I have just a total naughty streak. And if you're trying to take things away from me, usually I'll fill in with worse stuff. So, I like to crowd out the bad. So the first thing is to eat more healthy fats. I'm just adding a little coconut oil in, like our buddy Dave Asprey has Bulletproof Coffee. Just adding coconut oil in your coffee in the morning or in your morning shake can make a massive difference in helping you burn more fat and have better focus. Adding some fat, and you won't be hungry. I teach everyone to start the day with a shake, because what I found is so many people start the day with dessert. They have a muffin and a coffee, and they think they're doing great because they're having a skinny latte, which is all sugar because it's made with skim milk, which is just sugar. So I teach people to start the day with a shake with protein, healthy fats, and fiber. To me, that's the trifecta for blood sugar balance, and we get in trouble when our blood sugar is out of balance. So that's a biggie. To make sure, this is one of the simplest health hacks out there, is to put sleep as a priority. 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. You don't steal from sleep. If all you did was sleep more, you have better insulin sensitivity, you're able to burn more fat, you age more slowly because your growth hormone's up more, you're nicer, and you're not as hungry. One poor night of sleep and you're mean and you're the hangry, as we call it. You're mean and hungry. So sleep is a huge one. Water is another simple one. Just drinking water throughout the day. Every time you're drinking water, you boost your metabolism. You can boost your metabolism as much as 30% by drinking a glass or two of water. And it's great when it's colder, because then your body has to work to heat it up. And you look at these things and go, this is not hard. It's just a matter of awareness and creating a habit. And one of the things that we know is that the best way to do that is to start by journaling, because what you measure, you can improve. And when you journal, there's one study Kaiser did where they looked at people losing weight, and the people who journaled lost twice the weight as people who didn't. So I say, do a journal, and what you measure you can improve, but then share that and it'll improve exponentially. So find an accountability partner to check in with each day on that. When I used to see people one-on-one, they had to send me those journals every single day. They'd email me, and it keeps you accountable and aware of what you're actually putting in your mouth. So those are the simplest things to do, and yet we're always looking for this more complicated thing out there, right? But it's really not hard. It's really just starting.
Yeah. And that's the thing for those of you in the My Movies community that are creating My Movies anyway, we talk about including 5 different types of affirmations in your My Movie. So if you start the My Movie with your goal, which is maybe the goal weight or the size of clothing that you want to get to, then you start to describe what life is like now you've got there and how amazing it is to be this new weight. Then you start to put in your why, like, why do I want to lose weight? Why do I want to get to a healthiest, who am I doing this for, and who's going to benefit from it? Then you take your action. So include action, affirmations like I drink, 8 glasses of water a day. I include, coconut oil in my shakes in the morning and whatever it is, so that you're reminding yourself every single day of the actions that you're taking. And then, and of course, the last equation of that is really the thought process. Like, how do you need to think differently and have that relationship to food to be able to become this amazing, healthy person where it's no longer an effort for you.
Yeah.
It's just who you are.
Where
right?
Food is just fuel. And you brought up such a huge thing. This is why your process is really the perfect overlay. I mean, for everything, but especially for health, because what we just did a survey of hundreds of thousands of people. And what really came down to it is people were very concerned about motivation and weight regain. But where those really come from is someone not feeling worthy enough and not having that strong enough why, and not being able to already put themselves there and see themselves there. Because, if you came from a place of I'm awesome right now, and now I'm just going to make myself even better because I know I have big things to do out there, it's very different than feeling like I'm not good enough. I'm overweight, I'm tired, I look old, right? Then you're doing it from this desperation point, and when you don't feel good enough, you won't treat yourself good enough, right? But if you come from them, I'm already here, and now what I'm going to do is take care of what I was given at the highest level so I can go out there and do the things I was supposed to do. It's such a shift. And then you're not going to want to go and have those things because you look at it differently. And I think that's what's so key is, we've gotten to a point, I take people through a personal discovery process when they go through either the virgin diet or the sugar impact diet, where they can really connect the dots between what they're eating and how they feel. And once you start to really line that up, you go, well, I'm not going to have that big gluten-y thing or that big piece of cake with all the sugar, because you're just going to crash, and you're totally aware of what that does for you, and it's not worth it anymore because you've put the value on yourself.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you have worked with like thousands of people. So do you have like a story of someone, like an inspiring story of someone that you've worked with that you've seen like a massive transformation just by changing their health habits?
It's been so fun because I've done a lot of public television shows too. And so you get over 1 million people that are doing this stuff and crazy stories. But just this last week, I saw one of the people who's on my team, and I hadn't seen him for a bit, and he's new. He's been working with us 90 days. And when he started working with us, his wife was super excited that he was working with us because she'd been following me, but he thought that I had a women's programs and it was a woman's diet, and that the whole gluten-free thing was just a bunch of, in his words, hooey, right? And so, but he got indoctrinated. He came in, and so he went on the program, and it's been 90 days and he's lost 42 pounds.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about, and I saw him a few weeks ago, and he'd lost so much already by that stage. I'm like, God.
I know. I looked at it the other day. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? This is unbelievable. But that's not the key point. That's just a side effect. It's like better font on the email. What's the difference is this guy's totally different. Like his self-confidence, his personality, how outgoing he is, how happy he is, his energy levels. I'm like, who is this guy? It's so, and that's the stuff that just charges me up. It just charges me up. And because the other side of that, Natalie, is it just breaks my heart when I see people out there, and you see them every day you're out, and they've got a diet soda in one hand and some like silly diet yogurt or something in the other. And they're trying hard. There's more information than ever on health and diets and sugar, but yet we're more overweight, we're sicker than ever, and we're eating more sugar than ever. It's like it's just this whole plethora of misinformation that's taking us down. And what upsets me the most about that is people then blame themselves. Yeah. And, they think that they weren't good enough, that they're too old, that it's their genetics, that maybe it's because they're a woman, all these silly things. And it's not. It's like you've just been duped by misinformation, following the wrong set of rules. So to get someone like this guy who, here he was thinking that, this is just who he was. All this stuff was hooey. And it's just like, boom. Those are the ones that I love the most of all.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the other exciting thing I wanted to talk about before we go is the tour that we're going to be doing next year called Breakthroughs. So we're going to be touring several different cities. And there's many amazing speakers on this tour, including JJ and myself. But we also have like Noah St. John. We've got Janet Atwood. Who else have we got on this tour?
Kellyanne Petrucci,
Yeah.
and she's gonna be out crazy big with her bone broth diet. My buddy Tommy Igoe, who is the top jazz drummer in, I think, the world now, who's going to talk really about how to own the stage, whatever stage you're on, even the stage in your own living room or kitchen. So just fun people. Josh Axe, who's incredible on detox and cleanses. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. And the tie-in with Breakthroughs, the movie that my buddy Jeff Hayes did, and Dave Asprey's in, and Robin's in, and it's going to be incredible. Plus, we get to hang out. So
exactly. And of course, we want to hang out with you as well.
Exactly. I was just going to say that's the most fun part, is we actually have time. You know, the way those are work, that we get to hang out, go to the place, get to meet you, hang out. I mean, that's so fun. That's why I said yes when Robin told me about this, is I went, wow, I can go to all these cities. And my favorite thing is to speak on stage and then spend time with people and get to really hear what's going on and answer questions and all of that. So it's going to be a blast.
It's going to be amazing. And the thing is, we're covering all subjects. We're covering mindset. We're covering passion. We're covering, all aspects of health. How to be on stage. All of those kind of things will be covered in these tours by some of the most amazing and dynamic speakers that we have in our industry. And I'm so honored to be part of this. And I really can't wait to meet you at one of these events. So there is a banner on the side of this video that actually is called Breakthroughs. If you click on that, you'll be able to go through and see the cities that we'll be speaking in. And I think we've pretty much got every city in the US covered.
Yeah, or you can go drive an hour and you've got it.
Exactly. And we'd love to meet you there. But JJ, before we go, where can we send people if they want to connect with you and find out more about the diet and everything with you?
Yes, so they can go to jjvirgin.com, and that will link to my podcast and my blogs and all of it. We have created so much information and do on an ongoing basis. And again, what I'm all about are simple, actionable steps that you can start putting into your life, the little hinges that swing the big doors. So you turn around and go, wow, everything has shifted, but it was like these little tiny changes that got you there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you'll see JJ's banner on the side of this video as well. So thanks again for joining me, JJ. It's been awesome talking to you today.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, guys, I encourage you, please share this video. Let's get the word out. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. And make sure that you leave your email if you haven't done so already, so I can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's actually valued at $87, and I'd love to send it to you for free. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.